As teachers and educators, it is part of our jobs to better understand our students and how they learn. As a teacher of a career technology education course, I find grading a daunting task. For the subjects I teach, I'm more concerned that the student learn how to perform an overall task or job than whether or not they can pass a quiz or test. To me, watching my journalism students in the field videoing and photographing events, interviewing students and teachers, selling a local business and advertisement, or creating social media posts shows me those lessons that I have taught them. However, in education, A's and B's are still the standard when it comes to grading. Assessments and the amount of data that given through them have become an essential part of education. It has also shown the importance of creating a data-driven learning environment in order to get everyone, from administrators to teachers, involved in helping teachers provide the data and results. This is why it's important for schools to have plans in place on data analysis, action, and creating a data-driven culture. Computer-based testing and digital assessments have now become a part of our world. I don't know of any major test or assessment that isn't online. This special topic course has shown how digital assessments are being used to collect various amounts of data, which makes for better instruction and students excelling. Paul Brambrick-Santo emphasizes that data-driven schools are those that use data to turn school focus from what was taught to what was learned. As a learner and teacher, I agree with the statement in the Powell assessment reading. Students learn differently and should have a variety of opportunities to demonstrate what they know and can do. Technology offers tremendous opportunities to the field of educational assessment in terms of convenience, efficiency, and features. As Brambrick-Santo states, assessments are not the end of the teaching and learning process, they're the starting point. Embedded and authentic assessments. To me, as a learner and teacher, embedded and assessments and authentic assessments are the best ways to see what students have learned. Embedded assessments feel like a natural part of the instruction, so you're not aware you are being assessed. This is from Teach by Janice Koch. I have students give oral reports at times. We do what is called show and tell on our yearbook pages. When a student has a rough draft of the page done, they show it to the whole class, and then the class must tell the presenting student what is positive about the page and what might need correcting or adjusting. Negative comments are not allowed. This is constructive criticism to help make the page and the yearbook better. The show and tell that my yearbook student do is an embedded assessment. They know it's part of the design process. Koch also states that authentic assessments, students performing a task relating to what they have learned to some real-world problem or example, is the main assessment I like to use as a teacher and as a learner. To me, this really helps you retrieve and rethink that knowledge from the classroom and put it to use for all to see. Koch states students must publicly demonstrate their understanding by reshaping, expanding on, and applying what they already know. To me, students gain even more skills and knowledge from these type of assessments than from just simply filling in blanks. Sarah Davis Powell, author of Your Introduction to Education, Explorations in Teaching, says rubrics give clear expectations for the assignments, allow teachers to differentiate consistently among performance levels, provide guidelines for student improvement, and make grading more transparent and consistent, which is important with my assessments. I know standardized testing is not going to go away, but I think teachers need to embrace other forms of assessments besides using a pen and pencil. We all learn differently, even those students who make straight A's. Standards-based grading and competency-based education. Standards-based grading involves measuring students' proficiency on well-defined course subjects, according to Patricia L. Scrafini in her article, 7 Reasons for Standards-Based Grading. While many schools adopt both traditional and standards-based grading, there is an argument that standards-based grading can and should replace traditional grades. The 7 reasons that Scrafini gives for why standards-based grading should replace point-based grades are: grades should have meaning. We need to challenge the status quo. We can control grading practices. Standards-based grading reduces meaningless paperwork. It helps teachers adjust instruction. It teaches what quality looks like, and it's a launch pad to other reforms. Competency-based education has increased in popularity as the downfalls of traditional grading systems have become more apparent, such as an overfocus on grades. Competency-based models have attempted to address these concerns and improve the educational experience of students by expanding the focus from grades to student growth and skill obtainment, according to Chase Boss and Robert Bud McKendry from Career and Technical Education Teachers' Perspective of Evidence-Based Grading. One area of education that competency-based education has become useful is the increase in the career technical education, or CTE, field. Research in broader post-secondary education has also explored other models of competency-based education, such as mastery-oriented assessment. In most CTE cases, students are learning skills that will lead them toward a job or a career in that field. In his paper, From Formative Assessment to Assessment for Learning, A Path to Success in Standards-Based Schools, Rich Stiggins states, teachers must believe that all students can achieve a certain level of academic success, must bring all of their students to believe this of themselves, must accommodate the fact that students learn at different rates by making use of differentiated instruction, and must guide all students toward the attainment of standards. Kelly Jensen, author of What All Content Areas Can Learn from CTE's Competency-Based Grading, states, competency-based education, whether in CTE or other content areas, represents a positive shift in education, emphasizing understanding over traditional grading metrics. Recommendations for practice include suggesting CTE teachers in secondary schools that have not yet implemented a competency-based model consider implementing one, but with the understanding there will be challenges. Boss and McKendry state one of the potential challenges for teachers is the shift in what is expected of them before and during instruction. However, meeting this shift in expectations may result in more effective instructional experiences with students. One thing I love about CTE teaching is seeing the student who may not perform the best in those core classes shine in my classroom when they master a new skill. They may not be the top of their class, but in my classroom, they are stars. Computer-based assessment. Computer-based assessment, or CBA, refers to tests administered to students by computer. The purpose of CBAs is to increase the efficiency of test administration and scoring and to ensure the standardization of testing procedures. CBAs have also been able to offer innovations in test administration that cannot be available for paper and pencil tests, such as embedding accommodations and modifications, as well as the model of computer adaptive testing, according to Leah Dimbitzer, Sarah Zeklevitz, and Ryan Kettler in their article, Designing Computer-Based Assessments, Multidisciplinary Findings, and Student Perspectives. With digital assessments, teachers can see a student's responses and the process a student used to get their answer, or the process of which they used to write their essay. This comes from a YouTube video about computer-based assessments from the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO. If a student doesn't perform well, the teacher can look at the process the student used to help them better understand the information or lesson. The UNESCO video also stated that teachers can also see demographics on how their students are doing, including minorities, English language learners, and students with disabilities. Schools that are high achieving may see that they are not serving those populations of students as well as they thought by using digital assessments. Tools like adjustable font sizes, text-to-speech, and highlighters are now available to all students, not just those with accommodations, according to the National Assessment of Educational Progress. Technology offers tremendous opportunities in the field of educational assessment in terms of convenience, efficiency, and features. However, technological applications on its own does not guarantee user experience that will facilitate valid inferences from scores. As the Dimbitzer, Zeklevitz, and Kettler stated in their paper, the convergence of concepts such as user-centric design and accessibility show the necessity of a collaborative process between computer science design experts designing CBA as well as further research aimed at setting standards for this process. Creating a data-driven environment. Paul Brambrick Santos' core idea is that standards are meaningless until you define how you assess them. Another way to put it is, why are we teaching this? What lesson as a teacher do I want my students to learn? As Brambrick Santos states, no one would start building a house without creating the blueprints or training for the Olympics without identifying what benchmarks define success. Data-driven instruction is the philosophy that schools should constantly focus on one simple question: are students learning? This also comes from Brambrick Santo. 4 key principles that Brambrick Santo has for data-driven instruction are: assessment, create rigorous interim assessments that provide meaningful data; analysis, examine the results of assessments to identify the causes of both strengths and shortcomings; action, teach effectively what students most need to learn; culture, create an environment in which data-driven instruction can survive and thrive. One thing I like about Brambrick Santo's method is that he emphasizes that everyone, from the teachers to the administrators, be involved in creating the assessments and how they can be an invaluable resource in building a quality interim assessment program. Digital grading. Automated assessment applications have achieved better than human reliability, and other methods of assisting assessment have opened up additional venues for utilization in the classroom and beyond. However, a lack of understanding of the differences between the different types of applications and their limitations has made selecting the appropriate application a difficult task, according to Andrew Aiken, author of An Evaluation of Assessment-Oriented Computer-Based Text Analysis Paradigms. Computer-based text analysis, or CBTA, has been referred to by many names in the literature, including automated essay scoring, which is the most prevalent name, particularly within education literature. CBTA falls into 2 categories: automated assessment and machine-assisted analysis. Automated writing assessment requires no human intervention, while machine-assisted analysis is dependent upon human interaction to provide an analysis of the text being analyzed, according to Aiken. After Ohio started using the American Institutes for Research in 2015 to provide and score state tests, artificial intelligence, or AI, programs have increasingly taken over grading. Computers are now scoring the entire test for about 75% of Ohio students. The other 25% are scored by people to help verify the computer's work, according to a 2018 article in The Plain Dealer by Patrick O'Donnell. Multiple other testing organizations like Pearson and McGraw-Hill and Education Testing Service have developed automated scoring systems that can quickly compare student essays to model answers humans provide. Just this past spring, the Texas Education Agency, or TEA, used computers and artificial intelligence technology to grade students' open-ended questions on the State of Texas Assessment of Academic Readiness, or STAR, for science, social studies, reading, and language arts. According to a scoring report by the TEA, students' responses were graded first by a computer. A hired human scorer then graded roughly 25% of those responses. If the computer has a low confidence score, it will also be rescored by a human. Some tests are also up for review if the computer's programming catches unrecognizable responses like slang words, phrases, or language other than English, according to a Houston Chronicle article by Kennedy Sessions. Students and parents who disagree with the computer and human scores can request a rescore for $50. This fee can be waived if the computer or human scoring is wrong. TEA guidelines state that the STAR test measures how much a student has learned about a subject. While online grading saves time and money, I question its accuracy. Furthermore, the assessment criteria of algorithms are limited, potentially overlooking certain areas such as organizational skills and grammar usage. Big data. Big data in education is transforming ways to understand student performance and learning patterns by analyzing vast amounts of educational data. With this, educational institutions can tailor learning experiences to individual needs, according to Sienna Roberts in her article, Big Data in Education, Applications, Limitations, and Future Scope. Big data in education involves collecting, processing, and analyzing vast data sets generated by educational institutions. Roberts states these include student demographics, academic performance, attendance, online interactions, and assessment results. Key characteristics of big data in education are volume, large amounts of data, velocity, rapid data creation, and variety, diverse data types. Big data also focuses on advanced analytics and data mining to uncover patterns and trends, which helps educators identify at-risk students, tailor teaching methods, and improve learning experiences. To set the stage with a definition, big data in education is the purposeful or incidental recording of activity and interactions in digitally mediated, network interconnected learning environments, the volume of which is unprecedented in large part because the data points are smaller and the recordings continuous. The varied types of data that are recordable and analyzable, the accessibility and durability of these data with potential to be A, immediately available for formative assessment or adaptive instructional recalibration, and B, persistent for the purposes of developing learner profiles and longitudinal analysis, and data analytics or synthesis and presentations based on the particular characteristics of these data for learner and teacher feedback, institutional accountability, educational software design, learning resource development, and educational research. This is from Bill Cope and Mary Calentis' article, Big Data Comes to School. Issues with big data and student privacy, test-driven teaching, lack of digital literacy skills for educators and administrators, potential for bias, and ethical questions in fairness, transparency, and accountability decision-making are some of the problems that big data faces. Key benefits of big data are personalized learning, improving student performance, enhanced decision-making, predictive analysis, and enhanced teaching method. Overall, big data has brought tremendous potential to transforming learning and is becoming a crucial point for successful implementation. In conclusion, data is continuously going to be a part of schools. A judicious, targeted use of data by educators coupled with careful coaching for them and qualitative assessments of students can yield significant improvements, especially when the definition of data expands beyond testing. As a career technical educator, I am interested in seeing how data plays in CTE programs like mine, where students don't necessarily take paper and pen assessments, but show their skills in real-world situations. Relationships between school leaders, teachers, and students are essential in making a school environment more successful. Thank you.